I think probably that this has probably been an issue many times before, but probably just one element of it repeatedly and through different personnel, so it's never been reported in full, whereas the clinician that reported this had so many elements there that they felt they had to put this report in.
We arrived at the mortuary with a gentleman that had fallen off his bicycle and gone into cardiac arrest. We didn't know quite what the procedure was.
So a Datex incident was placed. It contained a lot of elements from the mortuary, issues they had had when they're taking a patient in there out of hours.
I spoke to the mortuary porter. I asked him if it was his job to help us do this, and he said it wasn't his job. Then went away. We looked around, we couldn't find anything to help us out, and I thought he was going to come back. So I contacted control, asked them after about 20 minutes of waiting there, asked them what we should be doing next, and they contacted the hospital, and then the porter came back. When he came back, he did actually then start to help us. We didn't know where the labels were, and he eventually found one in a pot on the side. We didn't know what to put on the labels. We didn't know which fridge to choose because they all seemed to have names on it, and I felt a bit overwhelmed with the responsibility of having to choose the correct fridge. I felt then that there was a room for error, that if I didn't make a mistake, then certainly somebody else at some point will.
The main areas that we looked at that we needed to address were the access out of hours, which is currently provided by the porters, but they seem to just open the doors for the crews, and then the crews are left to their own devices, and there needed to be a bit more collaborative work in there. There were issues surrounding equipment within the mortuary, including the trolleys and the trays, that we need to look at whether training was required for those. Paperwork issues surrounding information governance and where we left our paperwork for the day mortuary technicians when they came in, and also just the general flow of how they responded in the mortuary to any elements that came up. So basically the things they have to do when they go in there is like tagging the body in several areas, so they have to put a tag on the wrist and a tag on the foot. They have to document things down in a register, so there's lots of different things they have to do, and it's just making sure that that is all done to a thorough level and that the crew feel confident in completing it. I managed to track down the person I needed, which was the mortuary technician.
So there was a question whether a porter in staff was responsible for when the ambulance crews come in, and actually we've got it in writing that they are. So we highlighted that to the porter in staff. We've also put in signs for the ambulance crew so they know what to do. We've put in envelopes for notes to be put in and put on the side for us. Wristbands are always there. We've got sheets available, and basically one of the things that I've also brought in, if there was anything that anyone was in doubt about, is we do have a weekend emergency on-call service as well. So that's one thing that wasn't there before. And also porter training. It's highlighted a big need for porter training, because I don't quite think they actually know what their responsibilities are either.
Ideally, there would be more training, and I believe now that things have been put in place as some sort of flowchart to help assist crews.
I was pretty new into this role, so I was learning anyway, and for me it helped me actually understand exactly what the processes were and what needed to be done in order to make it more streamlined and make sure that everyone knows what they're doing.
I think we had some really positive outcomes from it. I think the lines of communication haven't always been very open between ourselves and the mortuary. They highlighted to me some issues they'd had in the past with our crews, which obviously had never been passed across, and us the same for them. So it was really good to open those lines of communication up.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Obviously, if we've got a problem, then we can email each other straight away. We've training, we're more than happy for the ambulance crews to come here for any training. We can give a presentation. Again, if we want to contact Emma about anything, we can do so quite easily. And yeah, we've not had any problems since. I think it's, you know, if anyone's got any ideas about how to improve things, then we're more than happy to do whatever needs to be done.